Good morning. This morning, can we talk about retirement? How should we start planning our retirement? If you are working, like me, you are working for somebody else, and you are not young, or you are thinking about retiring early, it is a good idea you start thinking about it. When do you want to retire? And start planning it. You need to start thinking about that at least 10 years prior to the year you want to retire. So I have a list of questions here that I draft, and I went through this exercise with my husband not too long ago, and that's something I plan on doing often, every few months, so that I can evaluate our goals in case we change goals and start planning ahead of time. So the first question you should ask yourself, and I would suggest you have a binder or a journal, something like that, and then you list those questions you want to be asking yourself. The first time you might just have few questions, and after that you might add more to it. You might change your goal as you go as well. So as we are at the end of the year 2019, we want to start planning ahead. We want to revise our finances and start thinking about our retirement. So the first question you ask yourself is, when do you want to retire? When do you want to retire? So if you have not done it yet, I will link the video below. Let me write it down. How to create your net worth, or how to improve it. I have video regarding those topics. I think it must be 2 videos that I recorded to address that topic, and one of them I talk about tracking your incomes throughout the years. So you will go to, if you don't know how much you have earned throughout the year, your working life, you need to go to Social Security website, and you will, if you never used it before, you should, and you log in and make sure you keep your information so that you can visit it often or once a year to see how much your employer reported for your income wise. So you will visit Social Security website, and you'll be able to see all the years that you have worked and your income has been, or your incomes have been reported to them. And you'll use a spreadsheet to list down all those incomes and the years you earned them. So if, like everybody, you are thinking about retiring at the age of 60 or 50, whatever works for you, what you want, so you'll ask yourself that question: when do you want to retire? And if you are not sure, you can see how many years you have worked already. And I did that with my husband, and he has some small incomes, but when I look at, because we already look at the Social Security website and have those information on our spreadsheet to calculate our net worth and how we are doing accumulating wealth, he started working in 1996, and I asked him when he wants to retire, and he was not sure at first, but then he said, well, what about 60? So, and he's 41 now. So, and I asked myself the same question: when I want to retire, and what I want will be 55. But then I started working in 2004. So I put 60 down as well for myself, 55 to 60. And when we did the calculation, that means we have about 18 years to go. Your second question you ask yourself is, what retirement means to you? How do you view retirement? When I asked that question to my husband, he said that for him, it's about not working. And then he asked me the same question. Well, for me, it's about not working for somebody else. So you need to ask yourself that question and find out what retirement means to you. That will help you in the goals you are going to set yourself to reach your retirement. Your third question will be, how much do you need a month? So an easier way to do that is just to see how much you need right now a month to live on. That does not include rent or mortgage. And if you are thinking about retiring, I would suggest you don't rent, you own your house. But we are all different. Some people like to rent so that they have more freedom to travel. But if you are thinking about renting in retirement, you have to include it in it. But I'm talking about in case you purchase a house, you're living in your house, we don't want to include the mortgage. You just want to include your basic need. Groceries and utility bill. So you can go with your expenses, your current expenses right now. And with us, my husband estimated to be $1,000 or 100. And how do we come with that number? We have a budget, a fixed budget, $1,340 a month right now. So we just took 200 out of it to come down to 1,100 because we have allowances for 100 each. So I think we just took that out to come up with 1,100. So you need to know how much you are spending right now so that you'll be able to know to come up with a number. So if you are not straight about your finances for this new year coming, you might want to start tracking your expenses so that you have an idea how much you are spending and how much you want to spend so that you can start working toward improving your finances. So you need to know how much you need a month. That's important. And just use your current expenses. The fourth question number 4, what do you want to do when you retire for fun? Well, according to my husband, he wants to travel, visiting places. And about me, for fun, I want to be writing about gardening, cooking, and finances. And as you can see, I design my businesses around things that I like to do. So when I retire, I like to continue writing about gardening, cooking, and finances. My husband doesn't think that's fun, but we all have, different hobbies. So what do you want to do when you retire for fun? You need to know that and write it down. Question number 5. What places do you want to visit when you retire? Well, for my husband, anywhere he has not visited yet outside of the United States. So he has like Italy, Greece, those Europe countries. And for me, it's about other states in the United States. So we all have different goals or different wants. What about you? Where do you want to, what places do you want to visit when you retire? So list them down as well. Question 6. How much do you want to spend in vacations a year? How much do you want to spend on your vacation goals a year when you retire? Well, when I asked that question, my husband, his first answer was $100,000 a year. Well, I was a little bit surprised because when you don't earn $100,000 a year as income, how during your working life, how do you want to retire and start spending $100,000 a year traveling, right? So I was a little bit surprised. But yeah, that was his goal. That's what he wants. So you need to find out how much you want to spend on vacation, just on top of your head, and write it down as well. You might sharpen it later, but just write it down. And as for me, I just say $2,000 a year. So I'm more frugal. $2,000 a year in vacation, for me, I think that's enough. So your next question, question 7, how much should you estimate your expenses to be a year? So how much do you think you'll be spending a year during your retirement? Well, you first need to come up with how much you need a month, and you add your vacation to it. So we are not talking about health issue or things like that, because you'll have your social security and all those as well. We are not including those. So we are just using simple numbers to work with to give us an idea, and as we go along, we'll try to polish it. So how much do you think your expenses will be in a year when you retire? For my husband, we use 1,100 for living expenses a month, so we time it by 12. That's 13,200, and then we add $100,000 of traveling costs to it. So his total is 113,200 a year. Well, as for me, I use the same 1,100 for living expenses plus 2,000 a year for traveling costs, and my total is 15,200. And I believe that 15,200 is enough for me to live on when I retire with my husband. But he think he might need 113,200 a year to have his fun traveling around. Well, what do you think the next question will be? So question 8. What streams of income can you create to generate cash flows for you? What streams of income can you create to generate cash flows for you? So the way we did it is we used two options. The first one was just to assume that we are contributing to our 401k that we have with our employer, or if you don't have a 401k with your employer, you have a Roth IRA that you open yourself with a brokerage account, like with a brokerage company or brokerage firm like Charles Schwab or T. Rowe Price or TD Ameritrade. So let's take my husband's example. So let's assume that we are investing, or you are investing into your 401k or in a Roth IRA and a brokerage account. So you want to find out how much of your own money you are going to invest throughout the years in a mutual fund or some set of stocks at 8%. 8% is the return you will have on your investment. We are just using an average number, and depending on the mutual fund you chose, it might be higher. So we are looking at the minimum return you should be having on your investment, 8%. So how much should you invest at 8% to generate the income you need to live on when you retire? For example, for my husband, he wants to spend 113,200 a year. So how much should we have invested at 8% throughout the 18 years or throughout our working life, or by the time we retire? That investment at 8% will be generating 113,200 a year for us to live on, because when you investing, you don't want to touch your capital. For me, it's all about generating cash flow. So we don't want to touch the capital, our investment. So we want our investment to be generating enough to live on without us even touching the principal. So on my husband's case, we have to invest in our 401k / Roth / brokerage account. We should have invested, by the time we retire, within 18 years, we should have invested $1,415,000. And the way you just do that is investment times 8% equal 13,200 a year. So what that investment should be? 113,200 divided by 8%, or 113,200 divided by 0.08. That will give you the amount you need as the investment. So when we did that 113,200 divided by 0.08, the answer, the result is $1,415,000. That's what we should have invested by the time we retire. And if we have that amount in a mutual fund that returns 8% a year, we will have $113,200 to live on without touching that $1,415,000. And it's just a simple number. Because of the power of compounding interest, we may not even have to invest it that much, like $1,415,000, because when we are investing every month, every year, that will start growing as well. So we don't even have to come up with our own money like to have that amount. But by the time we retire, we should have $1,415,000 there to be generating $113,200 a year. In my case, how much should we have invested? At 8% to have 15,200 cash flow a year to live on. That's 15,200 divided by 0.08, and that gives us $190,000. So if we invested $190,000 in our 401k or Roth or brokerage account, we will be generating $15,200 a year when we retire. And that goal is doable. So that's how you have to do your calculations to see how much should you have in your investment to be able to live on the amount you think you will be needing when you retire. So that's the first option, investing into the stock markets. And when I say those numbers to my husband, well, and I let him know that he has now, even our combined income is less than $100,000 a year. How do we expect to spend that much a year when we retire? So he went and revised his number. He said, well, he still think $1,100 a month is good for living expenses, but for his traveling goals, $11,800 is the way to go. So $11,800 for traveling costs, $1,100 a month for living expenses times 12 is $13,200. So $13,200 plus $11,800 total to $25,000. So he thinks his expenses when you retire will be $25,000 a year. Well, let's check our numbers. How much should we have invested so that at 8% return, we can receive $25,000 a year for our living expenses? $25,000 divided by 0.08 gave us $312,500. So if we have $312,500 invested at 8%, we'll be getting $25,000 a year for our living expenses without touching our capital invested. So that's how you do those calculations. So from now or from next year to age 60, that's 18 years we have to retire. So if my husband, his second example, $312,500 that we need to have invested to generate $25,000 a year, how much should we be investing now so that we can have that amount? And I'm not even sure I have it as a question. And that's that. That will be question number 9. And Question number 9. How much of your income can you put aside until you retire? How much of your income can you put aside or can you invest until you retire? So let's work on that, and we'll come back for the second way you can generate cash flow to reach your goal. So if you want to be investing in Roth 401k, and in our case it's $312,500 we need to have in our investment for my husband to reach his goal, and for me $190,000 to be invested for me to reach our goal. How much should we be investing now until we retire? So we have 18 years to retire based on our estimates, and my husband needs $312,500 invested combined. So how much should we be investing now? So we, instead of using 18 years, we use 17 years. So 1 year before we retire. So $312,500 divided by 17. That gave us $18,382 a year. So we need to invest out of our income $18,382 a year. Divided by 12, that will be $1,532 a month. We need to be investing every month $1,532 a month. Can we do it? What about you? How much do you think you need by the time you retire, so that when you invest it at 8%, you should have enough cash flow coming so that you won't even have to touch your investment? What that amount is? How long, how many years you have to retire? Is it 10 years? So divide that amount by 10, and then you will see how much you need to save a year or invest a year. Divided by 12, and then you need to see how much you need to invest a month. Is it doable? Do you need to adjust your expenses now so that you can come with that amount, or do you need to adjust your goals? So that's how you will be thinking when you are, reflecting on your retirement. In my case, $190,000. How much should you be investing now to get to that amount? So that's $190,000 divided by 17. That gave us $11,177 a year. Divided by 12, that gave us $932 a month. If we start saving and investing $932 a month from now all the way to, by the time we retire in 17 years, we will have $190,000. And I know we'll have more than that because of the interest that will return throughout the years. And we are not even talking about that. We are just talking about, how much we are that is coming out of our income. So that's that. So how much, and I know that many people will talk about, you need to have $1 million in your investment account by the time you retire. Well, based on my assumption, my estimate, I just need $190,000, and my husband will need $312,500. But what about you? It may not be 1 million, it might be more. When my husband talked about $100,000 a year in vacation cost, it was more than that, $1,415,000. So what is your number? You need to find out. But let's use that $1 million that we all think we should have in our retirement by the time we retire, we should have in our retirement account. $1 million divided by 17 will give you $58,842 a year. You should have invested a year, and that is $4,902 a month. Can you invest $4,902 a month? If you can, there is a high probability that you will have more than $1 million in your retirement account by the time you retire. So that's how you should be, evaluating those numbers to see what will work for you. For you. It's about you. So that's that. So now that we have all the first 9 questions answered, and we just use for question 8 and 9, we just use the stock market. Let's address the second option. You can see that when you are investing money, you are not borrowing. You are just investing from your income, and the power of the compounding interest will help it grow. But you have to come up with a lot of money from your own pockets to start with. So that's why you can see that how much we need to save every month was high to reach our goals. What are the other ways you can generate money, to meet your goal, your retirement goals? One way will be rental properties. And with rental properties, you can use leverage. As an employee, we have that opportunity. When you are an employee and you are full-time, you have a good credit score, and you try hard to lower your expenses and your debts, many banks will be willing to lend you money. So you can seize that opportunity. You can seize that opportunity and invest into real estate. So let's say that we have 17 years, it's 18 years, but we want to be sure that we are ready. Let's use 1 year less. So 17 years to retire. And we want to invest in real estate. So next year or year 1, we purchase house number 1. So if the house costs $150,000 and we save $30,000 to put down as a down payment, so that means we'll purchase the house and the mortgage will be for $120,000. Am I right? Let's assume that we set the rent at $1,300 a month, and I know the rent will go up every month. No, not every month, but every year. Or let's use the first month rent, $1,300, and let's assume we pay that toward the mortgage, and the mortgage will have the homeowner insurance, the landlord insurance, all that combined. Let's assume we are paying $1,000 toward the mortgage, or the $1,300 toward the mortgage. Right there, you will see that you will be able to pay that mortgage, that $120,000 within 10 years. So when that is paid off, let's assume that at the time you pay off within 10 years, your rent went up to $1,800, because you are increasing it every month, right? Every year, right? So $1,800, and maybe that $1,300 a month on a $115,000 house might be low rent to set. It might be higher than that. But if we assume that, well, you set the rent at $1,300, and by the time you pay off, your rent went up to $1,800. For example, $1,800 times 12 will give you $21,600 a year of cash flow revenue. So year 1, we purchase house number 1, or you purchase house number 1. Year 2, you purchase house number 2 at $50,000. You continue saving your own income, $30,000. You put it down for down payment, and the mortgage is $120,000. So what you will do is you set the rent at $1,300 a month as well. So what you do is you pay the minimum mortgage on house 2, and you take the excess rent and apply that toward the mortgage of house 1. So if you do that, you even pay house 1 in less than 10 years, and then the rent from house 1 will be applied to house 2 and pay off quickly as well. But let's say that you are just paying each one of them with their own rents. So house 1 will be paid within 10 years. House 2 will be paying off within 11 years. And when you pay off after 11 years, you'll have, let's assume 1,800 as well, times 12. That's another 21,600 revenue right there. So by the time you retire in 17 years, like in our case, you'll have about 7 houses if you are purchasing them one at a time every year with your own money as a down payment, $30,000, and use the rents to pay off. You'll have 7 houses all pay off or close to be paid off. So let's see our numbers here. Your own income that you'll have put down, 30,000 for 7 houses, will be $210,000. So after you pay all those 7 houses off, after you pay them all off, your rent will be 21,600 times 7. So 21,600 a year times 7. That will give you 1,500,000. That'll give you 1 million. Is it 1 million? Let me see here. I believe that would be 151,200. Am I right? I should have my calculator here. $21,600 times 7. Yeah, that would be 151,200. So you will be generating 151,200 a year. And I don't know if you remember, my husband wanted to, his first goal, traveling, spending $100,000 a year. When we use that, and then we add 13,200 for our living expenses, that's 113,200, right? With 7 houses generating $151,200, well, that met that goal easily. Am I right? Good. And that exceeds my goal of 15,200 a year of expenses. But guess what? Not only you are generating $151,200 as cash flow, rental cash flow or rental revenue a year, you'll have equity built into those houses as well. So you'll have 7 houses. The original value was $150,000 or more, but then that will have increased in value toward the 17 years. But if you just go with the original value of the house, pay off, not with your money, but with your renter's money, and you only put $210,000 down, your equity in those houses will have increased to $1,050,000. That's how you use leverage as your advantage. It's nothing creative here. It's not about purchasing houses with 0% down. You are owning it from the start with some equity built into it because you negotiate the price so that you are purchasing the house from the start a little bit below the market value, and then you put 20% down. So that helps you generate positive cash flow from the start. And then you work toward paying it off. You are now you're not going to refinance it to pull home equity out to borrow against anything like that. You just pay them off so that you own all those properties. And you can manage it. You can manage those while you are working. It'll be more work, and you may not need a team, or if you need to bring few people in to help you with, you'll be able to do that as well. We just use raw numbers to work with to give you an idea, and as you go deeper and deeper into it, you'll know the real numbers that you should be working with, and you should estimate, you should underestimate, so that you come up with a higher return. But as you can see, you only need $210,000 of your money down when you are going with real estate, and you'll be generating $151,200 a year when you retire as cash flow, without even touching your capital, $210,000 that you invested, and without touching your equity in the houses, which is $1,050,000 by the time you retire, and will go up. And as you can see, this option compared to the investment, if we go back up, you will see that to come up with $1 million in your investment account, you needed to invest $4,900 to a month, or to have $190,000 invested so that I can reach my goal of $15,200 a year. I had to save and invest $932 a month. Or to reach my husband's goal of spending $113,200, we have to invest we have to have $1,415,000 in the account, and I didn't try to divide it by 17 to see what that will give us. But when he changed it to $25,000 a year, so the $312,500 that we need to have invested to reach that amount, $312,500, we have to invest $1,532 a month. And those are the numbers we will need to invest every month to be able to reach our goal, if we just want to go the passive way and invest into the stock market. But if we want to be a little bit more hands-in, involved, being active, and having our own real estate business, we might just need $210,000 invested total, and we will be generating $151,200 a year with an equity of $1,050,000 built into those houses. Well, you can do either. Which one is it going to be for you? Or you can combine both. So you can invest in real estate, and you can invest in your 401k or Roth or IRA, or whichever works for you on brokerage. So if you are investing $2,500 a month, so $30,000, if you want to invest $30,000 so that, or save $30,000 so that you can put that down as a down payment for houses, $30,000, and you want to buy a house, one house a year, $30,000 divided by 12, that's $2,500 you have to save every month. So you can save $2,500 every month so that you come with $30,000 to purchase a house a year, and at the same time you can save and invest $900 in your combined 401k, Roth, IRA, and all that. By doing both, you'll be investing a month $3,400. So you will be investing $3,400, and I don't know, because I'm not using PowerPoint, it might be a little bit confusing, but let's go back a little bit. Let's go backward a little bit. I wanted $190,000 invested. By the time we retire at 8%, we'll be generating $15,200 a year to live on. Well, to come up with that $190,000, we need to be investing $932 a month. So if we can invest $900 a month, by the time we retire, we'll have well over that $190,000 invested because of the compounding interest, right? In addition to that, if we are saving $2,500 a month, so that by the end of the year we have $30,000 to put down into to put down and purchase a house, well, by the time we retire, we could easily have 7 houses rent out and generating a cash flow of 151,200 a year, and have an equity that will increase our net worth by $1,050,000. So we can combine both and come up way ahead. So can you list all those questions? Doesn't have to be exactly the one that I just read, but add more to it based on your goal, your wants, your wishes, and see how do you want to reach them, and do that exercise often so that you can polish those objectives of yours and have a map to reach them. So now, as you can see, the question number 10 will be, how much cash flow should you have on hand by the time you retire? So it's all those last 3 questions, they all goes together. So you can invest in stock market and you can invest in rental property, but there is so many ways you can invest to generate cash flow. So you need to think about your your passion, your skills, to see all the possibilities open to you to create multiple streams of income, so that when you retire, you are not just trying to depleting your retirement account, but you are generating cash flow to live on without even touching your principles. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman. Marie-ninette. Marie-ninette is my middle name, and I just like to go by Nina. Thank you for watching. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell so that when we post something new, you can be notified. Thank you. Send your question to us. What do you want us to discuss more to help you in your financial journey? Thank you for watching.